Hello everyone. Today I'm going to write a program based on functions, and let us see what are the advantages of functions. So let us write import java.util, which is a package, and java.util includes a scanner class. Name of the class is functions. Now usually what we do is we usually write public static void main, right? So we write main function before the program starts. Now in this case we are not going to write the main function. We are going to write a user defined function, and we are going to call those user defined function from the main function. So the program for today's class is to add two numbers, which is a very simple program, but we are going to do it with the help of functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the program into three halves or three parts. One function will control the acceptance part, one function will add the numbers, and the third function will display the numbers. So let us write the first function, and its return type is void. Name of the function is accept. So in this function we are going to accept the values from the user. So let us print the first message. Enter the first value. Okay, so let that value be accepted in a variable a. sc.nextInt is a function which helps you to accept an integer value. Similarly, we are going to accept another value. I'm going to copy this, enter the second value, and let that be accepted in a variable b. So this particular function void accept is meant to accept the values from the user. So it has no other use. It will only accept the values from the user. So I close the function over here. Next, after accepting the values, I will add the values. So the name of the function is void add. So for that I'm declaring one variable int s equals to a plus b, the variables that we have accepted in the previous function. So this function, the use of this function is to add the values, that is a and b. So I'm going to close the function add. Next function will be void display, which will display the answer which is stored in s. So I'm going to write system.out.println the sum is plus s. Okay, so we have three functions: void accept, which will accept the values, that is a and b; void add, which will add the values a and b; and finally void display. So these are all user defined functions. Now we are going to write the main function, because the execution always starts from the main function. Public static void main, this is the syntax to declare a main function, string args. Okay, and since we have used sc.nextInt, so I have to use scanner class, scanner, scanner sc new scanner system.in. Okay, so sc is the object of scanner class, and scanner class is inside the package java.util. Now if you look at this line properly, scanner is a class and sc is the object, and nextInt is a function which is inside the scanner class. So what we understand from here is, in order to call the function we need the object. Similarly, out here also we have our function, and the name of our class is functions. So in order to call the user defined functions, we have to create the object of our class. And what is the name of our class? The name of our class is functions, functions. Okay, and ob is the name of the object, equals to new functions. Now we are not going to write system.in because it is not a predefined function, it is a user defined function. So now if you look at the program properly, the first function that needs to be called is accept, because you cannot add the numbers without accepting it. So first function that has to be called is ob.accept, and remember that the spelling has to be correct. Second function I'm going to call is ob.add, and finally ob.display. Now let us see whether this program works or not. I think there might be some errors because I want you to understand the types of errors that is generated in this program. So let us compile the program. Cannot find symbol variable sc. So what does this mean? It means that sc is an object of scanner class and it is being used inside this function accept, which means that accept will not be able to access an object which is inside the main function, because sc is the object of scanner class for only this particular function. So in order to avoid this error, what we have to do is we have to make this scanner class or the object of scanner class a public variable. So you will declare it after the class. So when you declare it after the class, at this line sc will be accessible by all the functions inside the program. So it means it is a public variable or a public object. Okay, now let us compile it again. Cannot find symbol variable a. Now if you look at this function ob.accept, and if you look at the variable a, it is of integer data type, and a is declared as int inside this function accept, which means that a is integer only for accept function, not for add. So that means int a out here is a local variable, it is not a public variable, and b is also a local variable. So in order to resolve this error, I'm going to delete this integer part from here, and I'm going to make int a and b both variables as public variables, so that this variable can be accessed by any function inside the program. Similarly, out here also you have int s, so I'm going to delete this and I'm going to write it int s. So out here also these are all public variables. Now int a, b and s can be accessed by accept, add as well as display. Now let us see whether the program will execute or not. So no syntax errors. Now run the program, right click, void main, and OK. Enter the first value. So this message is being printed because the first function accept is being called. So I enter the first value, integer value 5, enter the second value 5, so the sum is 10. The sum is 10 is being displayed by the third function, that is display. Okay, so let us run the program again with a different value, 12 and 14. The sum is 26, so the program is working. So this is how we do a program using functions. Now the last thing, so when the program starts its execution, the program is not going to start from import java.util, or it's not going to start from class function. The program always starts from this particular line, that is public static void main string args. No matter where you write, the compiler will always execute this line first. So what is going on over here? Functions, the name of our class, is creating an object ob. ob.accept will call the function accept, and it will go up, it will call this function ob.accept. So out here we have entered the first value, so the value will be stored in a and the value will be stored in b. After that it comes to the main function again and goes to the next function, that is ob.add, and it jumps back to the function void add, where the values accepted in A and B will be added. Let's say 5 plus 5 will be added and it will be stored in S. And finally, ob.display is being called over here, so it goes up and it displays the answer as the sum is plus S. So this is how a program can be divided into small blocks called functions. So in functions we implement the concept of divide and rule. So you can write any program using function. This is just a simple example. You can do the same program without including the functions except add and display.